Hey guys, and today I wanted to do a back to school haul sort of thing. You guys know I do my Open University, so these are things that I'm actually going to use for university, for Open University online studies. So I just wanted to share with you some things that I bought recently and some things that I already had but I think are still really good and really helpful to know what things you kind of need and the things that I kind of use for university. So the most exciting thing that I bought recently is this 50 pack of Super Tips, Crayola Super Tips washable thingies, whatever they're called. They have a long name, but I love them and I've seen so many people use them for bullet journaling, and I'm gonna try to do more bullet journaling for university and related to students and all that stuff. I also want to do a bit more doodling and making the bullet journal look a bit nicer. So this whole pack was £10 from Amazon, which is really good, and I was gonna buy the 24 pack because I thought I really don't need 50 crayons or 50 markers, I guess. But the 24 pack was £7 or £6 to £7, and this was 10, so I thought, you know what, it's actually not that much money, so I'm gonna buy the 50. And I love it. I've used it only a little bit so far, but I really like them and they're really nice. And for my bullet journal, which I'll show in a minute, it's quite nice, and they don't really you can see them on the back of the page. They bleed a tiny little bit, like they don't bleed, but you can see it a little bit. So I think they're nice for the price, to be honest. I guess I'll do the rest of like the pen section, marker section, and then I'll show notebooks and other stuff. So I also have this pack of Sharpies. It's actually different packs, but I do have all these colors here. So I bought the black separately, and it does have the thick tip and the thin tip, which I find really helpful. I only use these for whenever I have to do like a drawing, and then I take a picture of that drawing and I put it in my Word document to like show like a graph or any graphics that I do, because these do bleed if you're going to use them on a notebook. They do bleed, but they're nice for marking on other stuff or things you're not going to need the back of, if you know what I mean. And then I have the gold, copper and silver pack, which I didn't necessarily buy for university. I bought for work one time. Yeah, I quite like them. They're good if you're gonna draw or you're gonna use black paper or just like thicker paper, I guess. They are quite nice and very pretty. I love them. And I also have this colorful pack, which I do use more for university, and I did buy for that when I didn't really have any other markers. As you'll see, I do have loads now, but when I didn't really have any, I just thought this was a nice pack, and they do have nice colors, even though they're not as pastel and they show in the caps or the lids, but they're still quite nice. Then I bought these highlighters, which are, let me turn one around because it was bothering me. These are the Stabilo pastel highlighters that you've seen probably on bullet journaling and on Instagram and things like that. I do really like these, and initially I bought them for my bullet journal when I didn't really have thicker markers, I guess, that you could like swipe and just do like a thick line. I bought them for that reason, not necessarily for highlighting, but I do think they're really nice for highlighting as well, because they're not that powerful yellow that you're like, it's just everywhere. So I do really like them for that reason, but also for like coloring and things like that, or just doing titles. They're quite nice, and these are a bit more expensive. I don't remember the price, but I want to say around £12 for 6 of them, so they're a bit more expensive, but I think the colors are very pretty. And I also have these, which I actually had a really long time ago, and I bought them in Spain, I think, and then brought them from Spain here just because I thought, you know, I have them there. So one time that I went, I was like, ooh, I actually would like to have this in London. So they're like fine line, I'm not sure, 0.4 tip, so they're very thin, and they're nice for lines, which sounds like a weird thing, but when I do my math graphs and I do have to use graphing paper, and you might have loads of details within a small area, then that's what they're good for. So I wouldn't be able to use my Sharpies for that because they're too thick, or my Super Tips, they could get too thick if you do it wrong, or they could just bleed a lot. So for things like that where you need something thin or a very concentrated area that you're going to use different things in, those are really good for that. Then things that I write with normally, Muji pens, which are amazing. They're gel pens. These are, some of them are 0.7 and some of them are 0.5, which I actually prefer now. But I do have some colorful ones, and then the black and blue, they're just like the normal, and yeah, the red, these are like the normal colors, and then I have 2 colorful ones. Because, you know, I really like these pens, so I can resist to buy more, but I've had these for a while. I do go through the blacks a lot faster than the others, just because that's what I use to actually write more with. But yeah, really like them. I also have this highlighter here, which is the normal highlighting color. This is from Muji, but what I really like about it is that the tip, you won't be able to see this, I'm not sure why I'm showing you, but the tip has like, the middle bit is clear, so when you're actually highlighting, you can see what words you're highlighting and where the word ends, so you don't highlight past what you're trying to do, I guess, which is quite helpful. I really like it. And then something that I bought recently, but I've actually been really liking, is fine line, like a black fine line pen. This one here that I'm using now, and I actually bought a second pack of them. These are from Sainsbury's, and there were £2 for 3 of them, which I think is a really good price. And I actually really like them. They don't bleed on bullet journals, and it's just like a fine line that I actually really like, and I might start writing more with. I find that the Muji pens, the gel ones, are really nice, and I love them, and I love the way they write. But once you're writing a lot with them, the gel kind of stops working midway through, and I find that especially with the blue rather than the black, that it just like stops and then starts again and all that, and I find that the fine liners don't really do that. Once they run out, they like start just being a lot more faded, and then you know to get a new one. With those Muji ones, you still have like half the ink, and they're having problems a little bit. So I thought I would write more with fine liners this time around and see if that works better for me. And then I've got a few different notebooks. The ones that I've been using more are these Muji ones. They're like that, and they just have clear pages, just like that, nothing on them. I do study physics and maths, so it's not so much about writing, which it is, but I also need to do like drawings and do like maths. Most of the notebooks that I see out there, I've been to Sainsbury's, Paper Chase, W.H. Smith, all these places, they all have just lined notebooks. That's no good for maths. I didn't want that. So this one's from Muji, clear pages, you can do whatever you want with them. If you want to have, they're quite thick, but if you want to have a guide below to write, you could. And you can just, yeah, clear pages, I think is the best for doing maths. With that said, I do have different like maths exercises that I do in different stages. And they're just, you know, I have my assignments that my tutor does, I have the practice quizzes, I have the examples on the notebook, and I personally don't want to get them mixed up. Like, I want to have all the ones for my assignments in one place, all the quiz ones in one place, all the book ones in one place. So what I wanted to do was get just little notebooks that are going to help me separate those. And as I said, I couldn't find any ones with clear pages that were going to be cheap, that were going to be thin, that I just wanted to buy then and there. I didn't want to have to go to Amazon to find these. But I did find these 2 little ones in Tiger, which I believe it might now be called Flying Tiger, I'm not sure. But these are tiny ones, and they're not clear pages, but they do have squares rather than lines, if you know what I mean. It's quite a thick ink on it, which I'm not particularly a fan of, but I just thought these were £1 each, so very cheap, and I just thought they're nice for what I want them to be. I don't need them to be very neat and tidy, but I just want to separate the exercises from one place in another. And then I said I wanted to show you my bullet journal. I do have the Leuchtturm 1917, I think that's what it might be called, that I've been using for the past like year and a half maybe, that I just don't really use anymore. But I do want to use it more. I was trying to do a nicer theme for September, some planets and stuff, and I wanted to make it pretty, but I'm just not using it. But I do want to find a good use for it and for university stuff, and hopefully do some videos on it as well if you guys are interested. I love this bullet journal. I think the color of the pages is really nice. The dots on it are really nice. I think that's like my favorite page style. Like, I wish I could use this for writing math on it, but I feel like this is too expensive to use for that. This was about £15 maybe, I'm not sure. And I just think that's too much for me to write nonsense on and just do practice quizzes on. So yeah, but this is like my favorite thing. And then I found in Spain, when I was there in summer, I found this in Alejo, if you know that place. This is like a bullet journal style notebook thing, which has some palm leaves on it, which are very pretty. and it just has clear pages, which is amazing. I'm using this for bullet journaling for work at the minute. I'm not sure how that's gonna work out for me. If it doesn't, I'll just use it for normal stuff. But I do like how this has just clear pages. It was €4, which is so inexpensive. I wish I could find something similar here, but it's just nowhere to be seen. And then two random tools that I have. One is this ruler, which is half a ruler actually. It's one of those that extends, but I just wanted a small one. This is from Sainsbury's. I think it was around 50p, which is so cheap. So what I did is just snap it in half and just use half of it, because that's kind of what I need. I just want it for my bullet journal. As you can see, it's like the perfect size for it. And yeah, for exams as well, I brought like a bigger one last time, and I just thought it was too big for the space that you have. So I think this half a ruler is a good idea. It goes up to 14 centimeters, so it's all I need. And the last thing is this stick it thing. I'm not sure where I got this from. I want to say either Sainsbury's or WH Smith, but it's basically like a tape glue thingy. So if you mess up, or if you need to glue things together rather than having a glue stick or like a glue whatever else, this is just like a tape that you put over it and it's just glue, and I found it revolutionary. I thought it was the best idea ever, so I had to buy it, and I've used it a few times, especially if you mess up in your bullet journal. You just get a piece of paper, stick this on it, and just put it on top. It dries instantly because it's just dry the whole time, and it doesn't make a mess on your notebooks or your bullet journal, but it does glue stuff together. And that's everything that I have for the haul today. If you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to like and subscribe below, and I'll see you guys later with another video. Bye!